Sony PlayStation is known and loved for its single-player, narrative-driven cinematic games, and that's known throughout the world. This is what Sony is known for. This is what they're about, and they would have amassed a number of fans because of taking that route in gaming. So, some Sony fans considered it a slap to the face when Jim Ryan said that he's making over 10 games as a service, live services game. Now, could live services games be the death of Sony? Let's talk about it. This is Island Gamer with Jay, and don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let's talk about Sony's focus on live services games. Let's get it. So Jim Ryan's focus on live services games was revealed to everyone when some PlayStation documents was leaked to the public. These documents show that the old model of PlayStation, which is focusing on these single player games, would be decreased, and the increase would be going to the live services games. Now we can understand why it is, live services games are taking the forefront when it comes to, Sony. We're talking about Foam Stars, we're talking about Marathon, we're talking about Destiny 2. All those live services games, they are taking the forefront of Sony at this moment. So much so that Sony is trying to convince everyone that live services games is the future. We recently saw they announce Marathon, and it appears that they are using bots to basically raise the viewer count of that particular announcement, to the point where Dr. Disrespect had to call them out for it. Look at this.
I'm surprised no one's calling out the marathon game, though. No one's calling them out about botting their views. Like, if you look at PlayStation, right, they got 389,000 views on the trailer. That's from PlayStation, Sony PlayStation, okay? But then you can look at Marathon, all right, 18 million views.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
These dudes botted almost 18 million views. 941 comments, champs. How many likes? 7.2 thousand.
So yes, it appears that this new live services game, the studio that is making it is basically botting views to increase the hype for this game. So currently, we are seeing the Marathon trailer on YouTube is about 20 million views on a channel that only has 55,000 subscribers. If we was to look on the PlayStation side, we are seeing PlayStation viewer count is just over 500,000 views on a channel that is 15 million. So something is wrong here. It's very clear that the Marathon studio is fudging the numbers. But I digress. Let's listen now and see how some of Sony developers are struggling to really make live services games after making single-player narrative games for so many years. Let's listen at this article from Eurogamer.
Sony is reportedly uncomfortable about outgoing PlayStation boss Jim Ryan's pivot to games as a service. That's according to Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, who reported yesterday that even Bungie's expertise has not yet been able to turn PlayStation Studios into a service game factory. Just days after announcing its $3.6 billion Bungie buyout bid, Sony announced back in April 2022 that it would launch more than 10 new, live service games over the next 4 years, with the hope that Destiny developer Bungie would aid PlayStation in this major expansion of live service game development. Now, however, in an editorial reflecting on Ryan's departure from Sony, Schreier commented that the move to live service games goes against many Sony's first-party studios given their expertise in making big, cinematic adventure games that are played solo. Schreier then pointed to Anthem as an infamous example of what happens when studios make a drastic pivot from a familiar genre to something brand new, and suggested that this bet on multiplayer games may not pay off the way Ryan and his team had once hoped. The article ends by hinting that insiders are worried about the company's lack of coherent vision. Sony announced PlayStation boss Jim Ryan will be retiring next March after nearly 30 years with the company.
So did you guys hear that? live services games are not working out well for Sony. They are struggling to make it, and it's very clear as to why. These developers are used to only making, single player games. So Jim Ryan's sharp pivot to games as a service is not working out too well for PlayStation. Now, could this be the reason why as to why he stepped down and why it is, the leadership will be passed on to someone else? No one will know for sure. However, we are seeing that some Sony fans are not sad that Jim Ryan is leaving. And a matter of fact, some Sony fans are happy. Listen to this.
Jim Ryan is stepping down from Sony PlayStation, bro. I can't believe, you guys have no idea how happy I am.
Now, that's a bit too much. However, this guy is over the moon that Jim Ryan is leaving. And then we have other fans who is not pleased by the direction that Sony is going when it comes to this games as a service direction. Now, Sony needs to get their act together when it comes to, games as a service. We know that they will release solid single-player narrative-driven games, but they need to focus, and hopefully the new president will do that for them. They are not like Microsoft, who saw the vision long before and invested not only in games like Grounded and Sea of Thieves and other games that is working out very well for them, but Microsoft vision is very clear about how they are going forward in the gaming industry, and because of that they are paying off for it. But let me know what you think about games as a service for Sony. Do you think that this would lead Sony to continue to dominate in the future, or do you think it's a wrap, bro? It's a wrap. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.